But I'll give it another minute, let some people join in first. I'm only going to be recording the beginning part of this, and then when we jump over to the ticker request, all you guys talking about just going through them all, that's when I'll stop the recording. So the recording will just be about the market overall. But let's go. What's up, Viet? Nice to see you, man. So first off, I want to start with SPY. I'm just going to go to ES, and I'm going to clear my chart because I was already just re-looking at it. But overall, you know, just anytime you're on a Sunday or on the weekend or any day of the week, it doesn't have to be the weekend. You know, let's say it's Monday after work, market's closed, it's nighttime. You know, go to your charts, re-clear them, redraw. You know, and it's really not hard going through the TA routine. Again, it's really easy to just kind of focus on the important levels. You know, just focus on the peaks. You know, you can see you have a very, very major hill that happened right here, right? So then that's going to be a very, very useful level to us on that far right side again. So even if it isn't for a direct trade itself or anything, it gives us a very, very strong, confident piece of information. That's what all these levels are going to do. So you need to have full confidence when you're drawing these levels. So I'm going to go to the daily. I'm going to stay on the daily. And you want to mark just a couple of your just top levels. Just focus on some of those hills. You don't want to go too crazy with it. And they don't need to be exact because you're going to adjust them on the 4-hour. So just some kind of just bland hills. You can see we have one there. Kind of have a slowdown here that consolidates before pushing higher. Another one here. Another one here, and so on and so on. And you can do this all up and down your chart. But I like to go to the 4-hour just so I can get it, don't have to redo it. And as you can see, I can start way down here if I want. But these streams are basically on Sunday just going to be to update us. Again, we're just going through the levels, getting everything ready, showing that it's not impossible to have effective levels. Anybody can have good levels, you know, but not everyone is going to trade amazing. You know, I wish we could all trade as amazing as the levels are, but of course that's not the case. So you can see I'm just grabbing the tops of my buyer candles left to right. Nothing special. And I'm just doing this in a certain area where current price is right now, because as you can see, it's actually way down here. But I wanted to fill it up enough to where I can not have to go back every other day to get more levels above or below. I can kind of give myself everything I need. And on the bigger time frames, this is going to cluster up your chart, but that's not what it's for. Again, it's for checking out for tomorrow, for making our list. So, you know, adjust them a little bit, make them a little bit more nicer, line it up with the previous day low, so on and so on. So you have everything to go for when tomorrow hits. You can see we got the 2-day go high, previous day high, they're hitting the same level. So we have very, very effective, very, very confident levels everywhere. Again, so when tomorrow hits, let's say price starts up here, price starts down here, price starts down here. No matter where price starts, I have a plan for both up and down. That's the entire point of going through the TA routine in such manner. It's not to really confuse you or cluster up, because it does cluster up your bigger time frames. But that's, again, what you're trying to do is just give yourself effective levels for those smaller time frames. If you do want to just clear all of this and just kind of view price as it is, then just draw those peaks, as I was saying. Again, just draw those major levels. Where did price push to before slowing down? Where did price sit on top of before moving higher? You know, these questions will give you very, very effective levels. So again, just mark those couple effective ones if you're here to just look at it. You just want to see some major moves on it. You can see on this downward slope here, we did have one bullish rally that got rejected. Vice versa here again. So you can see we do have two very recent resistances here. That would be very, very strong. If buyers can push through it, they have a lot of room up to that next major level. I think we can all agree on that. What about the downside? You know, same story. If they end up breaking their recent support right here, yeah, they do look like they need to pull back down to whatever the next major area is. Again, we're not saying it's going to zero. We're just saying it's going to the next important area. And we can do the same thing on NASDAQ. We can go to the 4-hour, and same thing on the daily, you know, if you want. And you can grab all the effective levels that you need to grab. So I'm just going to start with some emerging candles. It's actually way down here. Zoom back out. I can see current price is about right here, so I just need to get up to this next peak. So I'm just going to mark this one. And I'm going to zoom in right here. Again, don't stare where price is. You just want to see where it is in the range. Because if you stare where price is, you're gonna change where your lines go. You're gonna be a little more biased. You're gonna be like, oh, well, that works where price is. Don't do that. Focus on the left to right. You know, kind of tunnel vision the far left side, so you're not kind of screwing yourself in the future. But I'm gonna just mark all of these. In between that little range, y'all saw me find. You can see how very systematic this is. We're not, going across a bunch of different things, making up different rules every time. We're basically grabbing the same levels on every chart. It's just going to be a little different. So you can see we have a little bit of room there. Go to the 5-minute, we can see. Okay, wow, nice. So yeah, line up that previous day low, just like I did on the other chart. You can see the level is just a little bit off of where it was, so might as well add that previous, or two-day ago low. Sorry, very, very crucial level there, just like it is with our previous day low. And we know that because we've tested it once, twice, 3 times. So I'd say 14, 3, 115 is a very, very strong level. Now, just like I said earlier, it doesn't matter where price starts tomorrow, because if it starts here, if it starts here, if it starts here, if it starts here, no matter where price starts tomorrow, we're going to add on our BB system levels for our intraday. And no matter where price starts, we have a plan for both up and down. So price could completely rally and push with volume, and we have plans for it. It could range trade, we know exactly where we're looking at, and it could drop. And that's the whole point of being non-biased. You don't want to just stare at this stuff and only be looking how you can play calls or how you can only be looking to play puts, because then you're going to be hesitant when you do have to play the other side. You might even be unaware. So always plan for both sides, always help yourself with that. But again, just like on that other chart I showed you, if you don't want to... Oh, I know why it's doing that. If you don't want to have so many levels everywhere, so many levels everywhere, because you're trying to just look at the general gist of it, then delete it all. Focus on just those bigger levels I was telling you about. Back it out again, and remind yourself, okay, wow, there's a very, very important hill here. Kind of ramped up, pick back down. What do you have another one? 14020s area? Or do you have another one at? Kind of have a major one here and here, kind of 2 in the same area, as well as a pretty good strong support and another big peak. Again, so not grabbing every in-between level. Again, just to kind of give yourself a general view of everything. Price has dropped, held levels of price history, because again, none of these levels are rising up to a random area, and none of these levels are, price is not dropping to a random area. It's going to a level of price history. This has all happened before. So that's why you have to focus on that far left side, like we talk about reading a book left to right. You're doing the same thing on the chart, left to right. So there does, in fact, look like a lot of room to the downside from recent price action, of course, and that's why we like to grab all of our levels. You can see there is a lot of levels here. It doesn't have to just continuously fall in one red candle straight to 13,820. No, you probably will have a little bit of price action battle in between, just as we've seen for both bulls and for bears. So we have to be ready for that. But let me pull up the sectors chart. So this was like the second part of the stream I wanted to start doing when we cover SPY and NASDAQ. And if you guys have any questions or anything to add on, or just something to throw in there, it doesn't have to be a question. Throw it in the trade floor. I'll be looking. But how many of you are aware of your sectors? How many of you know what to go check when you're looking at tech? How many of you know what to go check when you're looking at comms or healthcare or financials? Do you know what sectors to go check or what to compare it next to? And just easy question. What's the most popular and the heaviest sector? Who knows this one? Exactly, tech, NASDAQ. These are going to tech. It's just overall going to be the heaviest and the most popular sector. So it almost always needs to be part of your watch list. You need to always have some sort of tech in some shape or fashion on your watch list, or you need to have gone over them at least, right? So don't just look at healthcare, don't just look at financials, don't just look at tech, look at them all. You need to go through them every single weekend when you can. If you have any time during the week, of course, that is also great. But of course on the weekend we all have a lot more time. But here on tech, so here's XLK, heaviest sector. Again, just drawing those major peaks. You don't need to go crazy with it. I'm not going to sit here and go through TA routine on every single chart. But as you can see here, by just grabbing some of our effectives levels here, and I'm just grabbing kind of the tops before I see major slowdowns. You can see on this one, kind of hit here, and then we had a major slowdown. Up here, same again, same again, same again, same again. And by doing that, I'm just giving myself a good general view. Again, I'm not trying to flood my chart with a ton of levels. Yes, XLK is tech. I've stated that a lot of times in my posts. I've done it in a lot of streams, so if you haven't caught that, it's okay. But overall, XLK is tech. And here's a screenshot of the entire sector's watch list. I'm going to go through almost all of them. I do that almost every time. But here is the sectors. You have tech, in order of my picture that I just sent. You have tech, healthcare, discretionary, comms, financials, industrials, staples, real estate, base materials, utilities, and energy. Does anybody know what sectors have been rallying lately, the past few months, in comparison to the market? Everything's kind of had some indecisiveness or even some red drops. What's a sector that's been rallying or holding very well? And there's a few right answers, so there's not just one. Al is correct on one of them, though. He said energy. Energy is by far one of the top sectors rallying right now. Even though the market is having its push, its recovery, its indecisive trading, there are still sectors outperforming. Hey, we got both mics in here. I'm honored to have you both. Sal said health and comms. That is partially correct. I'm going to say partially because healthcare has definitely been ripping. This is the healthcare chart right now. You can see it was just last week. They just pushed new highs. XLC, I only said you're partially correct, is because they're going to be kind of alongside discretionary to some extent. They're not, but hear me out. So you have tech. They're almost always going to be where we look at first, correct? Where do you look at second when things are in great shape? You want to look at the other sides. So you want to look at discretionary, comms, financials, everything else. That'll come after. So half right on that one. But yes, healthcare has been ripping. Energy, these are the two that I was thinking of the most. They have been destroying it. But there are a couple others. I saw someone say XLU, utilities. Utilities is another sector that has been doing amazing. Real estate, I think we can all know why this one's doing very well. Between all the big money buying all the houses and everything happening right now in the housing market. It's just a crazy mess, but the market itself, though, has been pushing higher, just like a lot of these other side sectors we just looked at. Great answers, everybody, seriously. Metals, yes. Commodities, consumables, staples. These are the companies people are going to look at because they're scared. They don't know where to go look at when things aren't so hot. When tech's not moving up, people kind of freak out. Don't freak out. Move over to those side sectors, and you'll see there is a lot of strength and a lot of opportunity. And that's why we go through these sectors. So you can see XLK is going to be by far your most looked at sector. But you need to make a continuous effort to go through the rest of these. You can see healthcare. Here's discretionary, your Tesla, your Nike, your Home Depot, your Amazon sector. Comms, financials. Just by going through those first 5 sectors, and this freaks people out every time. Just by looking at those first 5 sectors, you've already seen a 70 to 75% of the market. That's a pretty big chunk of change of the market right there without really having to check a whole lot. You know, so you've already done your groundwork. You've already kind of gone out and you've looked, where is everything? And if you want a really easy way, and I can make a better system for this, I was going to make a better illustration for it. But overall, and y'all have probably seen this in other videos, you want to have like a little timeline on your screen, right? And on that timeline, you want to have all the sectors placed. So let's say this is where the hottest sector goes, and this is where the coldest would go. What would y'all say is the hottest right now based on positioning? And y'all just said them. Energy, healthcare, utilities, real estate, right? You're going to have tech kind of in the middle. They're not totally down towards the bottom. And then you're going to have comms shortly after, discretionary shortly after, financials. We didn't even look at financials. You can see they had that same drop as the market, the same rally, and they've also had their fair share of recovery mode, and they've just now picked up with a morning star. So there's a chance financials are picking up short term just looking at that. But overall, you know, I'd say they're probably somewhere in the means of about here. You know, they're not totally at the bottom of their chart, but they are definitely still sitting in a good place. So just kind of a placement marker. That's what this is. You want to have a placement marker of where are all of your sectors, right? So you have a good idea in the back of your head where everything is when next week happens. Yes, travel is in the shitter. You have that correct. We can look at that right here. And yes, financials are this week, I'm pretty sure. But this is why I wanted to get past all of that conversation, is because financials, tech of course, and a few other of those sectors need to be your top watch. Financials I say I like a lot mainly because of their candlestick pattern. But because, unlike discretionary where they're kind of sitting here, or discretionary where they're kind of sitting here, I'd say tech's a little bit lower. And then you have, you know, of course, your energy, your healthcare, they're way up here. They're killing it, right? Which one is in the best position if the market is to hold? throughout the indecision. Financials are in probably the greatest spot because they've already gone down. They filled their gap. There's no more indecision to the bottom side, unlike tech, healthcare, tech, discretionary, comms. You know, they're not going to have as much indecision because they haven't had that full-on retracement, whereas financials have. So just by placement, financials need to be a very, very hot watch right now because they've already gone down. They've shown that sellers are down here. Buyers have taken it back up. Whereas tech, you can see there is a lot more room. Not saying it's going to go straight there first thing next week. Just saying there's a lot more room to the bottom of where they've been holding support, right? So just positioning, we need to be looking at XLF this week. What are some top XLF tickers that you guys know on hand? Ripcord's on it very early. He said BAC, SAL, AL, both saying JPM. Nice. And yep, JPM's the second weight, BAC is the third weight. Sometimes those interchange, but they haven't done so in a bit. And right under that, you'll have Wells Fargo and a few others. But the main ones you need to remember are BRKB, JPM, BAC, and Wells Fargo. Those are the first four you always need to remember. You're cheating, Analyze tab. And yeah, if you have TOS, if you have Webull or something else, I don't know exactly where you can go and look at this, but Google has literally everything. But on TOS, you can go to the Analyze tab and you can see of that tech or of that sector, what stocks are in it, how much they weigh. So whenever this sector is in a certain place, what will be affected the most? BRKB, JPM, BAC, so on and so on. Does that make sense though? We haven't lost anybody. We're basically just pointing out positioning of each sector. And then when we find what sectors we like based on positioning, what are their top weights? What is going to move the most when that sector starts to drop, starts to rise more? So that's kind of how you narrow down where you get that at. But let's go through some tickers now. We've gone through enough of the market. We've gone through enough of the sectors, talking about everything. Let's talk about a couple that we like. 3 tickers that I always go to, I'm very biased on, are going to be Tesla, Nvidia, and Apple. You don't need to trade these 3. But you need to at least look at them each and every week. In my opinion, these 3 will help you study price action a lot easier because they move, they have liquid chains. Again, not saying you need to go practice them with real money. It's amazing to go practice with paper or even mental trading, or even just more basic, just going back to do it for levels. You know, so if it takes just going back to this chart just to throw some levels on it, you know, help you with that practice, then please do so. And I saw some more people join. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you all. Hope you're all having a great weekend. But let's go through Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, and a few of the tickers that I posted today, or last night, sorry, in my channel. I said Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, Dash, Baba, Roblox, Lowe's, Vail, PLTRW. We'll do a few of them. We're not doing all of them. But we'll do a few of them, and then we'll do a few of the guys that y'all want on request. So if you have a few tickers in mind, keep them ready for when I ask. But let's go through a couple. So let's start with Tesla. I always start with this first peak over here on the far left because it kind of gives me a good basis, kind of starting point. Yeah, you can see we haven't really reached that in a while. So very, very good kind of just shoulder underneath to draw. And you can see the top of our chart way, way, way up here. 1218, right? So I got the range of my chart. I got the bottom, I got the top. Now I just need to get the left to right info at pretty much everything in this rally, right? Without making it harder on myself, let's just zoom in. Let's get it. So I'm going to grab that first level at 894, 895 area. I see there's a pretty strong one at about 910, 911. And as I have bigger ranges made, I do start to grab some of these in-between candles. I normally would only grab this candle, right? But since I see there is a big range, there was a significant buyer candle here, I might as well mark it, right? Just as good as an emerging candle. It's just a fancy name, by the way, for saying top of a buyer candle. There's no such thing as an emerging candle. It's just a really easy term to remember. You know exactly what it is when I throw it out. And that's what a lot of trading is, breaking things down in an easier fashion. So as you can see, we have all the main levels we want there. Gives us a lot of good information. If you go back to the daily, again, just like I said on the SPY, NASDAQ charts, don't just zoom in on the 5 minute. Back out. See what you're looking at. And you can see it has been trading very effectively with our levels. Even though it's only just from those few, I haven't completely finished. There's a lot of information already here. You can see we do have a gap range here. So sellers are going to be very intent on going to fill that gap fill. They want to go down to probably the 1K mark. The gap fill level is at 1010, but knowing that you have 1K sitting right here and a very important emerging candle, it might as well go test that lower level. And I'm not saying it's going to close low there, but you might see it wick that way on a bigger time frame. So definitely be on the lookout for Tesla this week. I'm definitely going to have it on the list like I do every other day. I'm having a hard time deleting this line. But let's go back to the 4 hour and we'll finish up the Tesla chart and move on to Nvidia and Apple. So after finishing that far left side, I like, again, like a book, you don't just skip pages, you go left to right. So I'm going to go left to right and see, am I missing anything? Is there anything in here that I'm missing? There is. I got a candle here. We got another one here. You don't have to mark this one, but you can. That is a very viable, strong level. And you can see I have a good big range in there, so I might as well add the top of where buyer stopped. The top of where buyer stopped. I'm not going to mark that because that is where we started at and dropped. So I don't know that there is any strong volume sitting there. I'm not going to mark that. Whoops. Keep zooming on over to the right. See if I miss anything else. See, there's another buyer candle here. Got another one that starts here with resistance from here. Just smaller levels, nothing super important. Just making sure you don't miss anything. Yep, looks like we got everything. So go back down to the small time frame. And then tomorrow, just like I said on the other charts, when we're adding those other smaller time frame levels, our previous day lows, other significant levels like a recent high like that, or even the closing price down here at about 1025.50s area, previous day low area, you can see we have a lot more of effective levels now. So regardless if price starts here, regardless if price starts here, regardless if price starts here, here, we have a plan. There's always going to be levels. There's always going to be a plan. If you ever see yourself with these big ranges, by the way, I get this question a lot. I just want to clear this up. If you get this range a lot, and you can see there's definitely levels in between 1074 and 1050. We can all agree on that. You can go over to the 30-minute, and you'll normally find really good levels from recent price action. And by really good levels, I mean levels that were touched repeatedly, the tops of buyers, levels that were from support turned into resistance. You know, it's going to be very strong. So you can see right there, 1085, very strong level. You can see they use this kind of area down here and the kind of 1060s area before launching back up. We never really touched that area again, but you come back over here, rejected it, fought it, rejected it, fell from it. So the 1060 level has a lot more significance now. And just by doing that simple trick, I just gave myself a lot more levels without really clustering myself more. And you can, again, if you want to just remove that drawing, you can go back and remove all of your smaller time frame drawings, so you don't have to go back and redraw the bigger time frame. If you just want to leave it how it is and continuously day in day out just clear the smaller time frame levels, do that. It's very easy. But we'll have a plan for Tesla going into tomorrow. Let's go over to Nvidia. Whoops. You can see I already have it charted. Just using the TA routine again, nothing out of the ordinary. But let's redo it again. Start from that peak. Again, just give me a good starting point. Level there at 229. I can see current price is right there. Might as well go to the other peak below. Whoops. And get us another good starting point. Top of our emergent candle. Top of the candle. And do you guys know what I'm marking each time? I'm marking this, by the way. When I'm marking the end of that day, what is that level that I'm grabbing? Does anybody know on the trade floor? Close of the day, exactly. Why do I want to grab that? Why is the close of the day so important? Exactly, a pivot point. That is the farthest point. Buyers wanted to take price before closing, before stopping, right? So that's going to be our last strength point. A very good pivot point. So that's why we grab them on the daily time frame. That's why we grab them on the 4 hour. That's why we grab them as emerging candles on those bigger time frames, and we call them pivot points on the smaller time frames because they're very significant levels because they mean a lot. Good answers, Al. Good answers, Viet, Mike, Sal. Good stuff. All right, well, let's continue on though. Let's keep getting our levels. And yeah, you got to zoom out sometimes. Whoops, just like that. Got to zoom out sometimes to help you get more levels in there. Trying to find something here without forcing anything like that, but I want to grab like a support. Yeah, right there. I'm grabbing that because it's the low of that, almost the CP of that candle, and we used it as support before gapping down. So very good level in between that zone without making anything up. So again, you don't want to have to make anything up because then you're not really helping yourself. You know, you might have temporarily thrown a line on your chart, but when it comes to trading that level in the smaller time frame, you're going to hate yourself later on for not knowing why it was there. You know, I can always go back to any of my charts and tell you exactly why a level was there. I will have high conviction through my level because I'm confident in that level. I don't see anything there. So current price is over here. Got a lot of support over there. We've touched down there again over here. So it looks like I need to start over here again. Merging candle, very strong close. And that looks like everything I'm going to be able to get. Yeah, that looks good. Go down to the 5-minute, just kind of check everything. And just like I said on every other chart, why is this so useful to me? You know, yeah, I'm kind of blinded. I'm pretty much Daredevil when it comes to looking at this time frame. You know, I'm not going to be able to tell you what's going on because there's a lot of just junk in my face, right? On the smaller time frames, though, why is this so helpful? Why do I keep doing that? Because no matter where I start tomorrow, I'm going to be able to create a plan to the upside, to the downside. I have targets. I have viable levels for both stop loss, entry, everything. I'm not missing out here. I'm not just totally out here lost like a lot of people will be by not having such effective levels. Again, having reasoning. You can see every time I mark a level, I say why I'm marking it. Do that as well when you're on your own. You know, remind yourself, why am I marking this? It's crazy how they make so much sense when you zoom in. It amazes me every time. That's good. What's up, Andre? Glad to have you. But that's exactly what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to amaze you. You know, it's not supposed to make total sense when you're on here for a day trader at least. You know, it's not supposed to make a lot of sense here. You know, we can talk about candlestick patterns all we want. You know, ooh, an evening star. Or, you know, you should look for a red opening that next day. That can lead to a very heavy sell-off. Blah blah blah. You know, all those simple rules over time. None of that really matters if you're not able to grab those levels and go to the smaller time frames and just watch. You know, so and that's why we love this system because we can plan for upside, downside. I can tell you something's going to range trade. I can tell you the probabilities of things, and you can have a lot better premonition, a lot better feeling about a lot of these moves. Let's go to Apple. I'll do a smaller ticker after this one, and then I'll do some requests. So let's clear Apple, and before I clear it, just to show you, not making this up, this is all already done. Probably from last week. I like to clear my smaller time frame levels and then redo them. Like lines in the road, it makes sense all the way down. And LNG, yeah, we can check that out. But back to the daily time frame, just to again give us that first starting look at it. You know, what are we looking at here? Got a very, very strong level here. Kind of good shoulder. Slowed down, held as support. Sorry, I was letting my dog out. But then going over, grabbing your other important peaks. You know, we got a very strong one there, so on and so on, like I showed you guys in the other charts. I'm just going to jump straight to the 4-hour so I can get straight to it. But let's see. So we'll grab that level there, 144.30s. 157. You can see current price is way up here. I'm not in the right area. You need to grab the top of the chart right there because that is the high. That's the highest that the candle pushed and closed. We have never had a buyer candle push higher than that and close. Yes, that candle was, but that was in extended hours. That doesn't count. That's going to be weak volume because there's not a lot of volume in after hours. So we're not trusting that candle. We trust the candle that was part of the day that closed. Very, very strong close there at 182.15. So we know that that resistance is very, very strong. Just as we know all these other levels we're grabbing are very, very strong. Grabbing all emerging candles, nothing really special yet. And if you see something like this, where you have one kind of like right here, and you have another one literally right here, you can might as well just mark that top one and just leave it, or mark both of them. Either or, it's not going to hurt you, as long as you know that they're both there. You can see I got everything from that far left side, so I'll just zoom back out. Just kind of see it again. Where am I? I'm back over here. I'm between 171, 169. There's a lot of indecision here because I don't have any levels here, right? So let's go find some, but without making things up. Again, you can instantly grab this level because it lines up with the support, but again, start with that far left side. Just remind yourself what's over here. So we had that close, that close. There is a level here. And you can mark this support at 168-ish area because this is where price gapped down, held, and pushed on. We never retested that level again for at least a few months. Auto zoom back out. And you can see, without making anything up, I still ended up getting that level that I thought was interesting. So you could have just grabbed it right there, or gone back to the far left and given yourself that much help. As far left as you can, D-Touch. That's the whole point. As far left as you can on Apple. If I go out to the max daily, I've never traded this high, so I'm not going to have to go back that far. On other tickers, you will have to go back farther. On airlines, and this is why I like to go through different tickers every week, is because you're not going to be able to do that. You know, you are going to have to go out pretty far, and it's not going to be as much fun grabbing this, right? So just start with the recent price action. Don't even worry about that. Focus right here. So if it's too much to go to the far left, focus on the recent price action. Recent price action is just as strong, D-Touch, but what I like to point out is that the far left is always going to be the most accurate. So I'm not saying it's wrong to just start here. I do it every single week. We'll go straight from here. I won't go from that far left side because it's just too far. There's too many levels over there. It's a lot easier for me to just grab right here, and they're almost just as effective. But remember, that far left is always going to be best. So that's why I always point out both, so people are aware of every side of it. But let's go finish Apple. We'll do a smaller ticker, and then we'll do some chart requests. But you can see Apple, we're pretty much done. After that 4-hour level we found, you can go to the smaller time frame and see, you know, tomorrow we can add on this level here. Whoops. Why would I add this level right here? Why is this important, everybody? Oh, you're good, D-Touch. Yeah, I always start as far left as I can. It's pretty much just how I think about it. If it's more convenient, grab something closer. Al said the... Oh, okay, my bad. You're saying previous day high. I'm thinking like I'm on this day, but no, you are correct. That's the high. It's the high, and it's the open. So just a very, very strong, significant level from just the previous day. But yeah, Malibu got it, Al got it, Leland got it, ST, Andre. Exactly. An intraday pivot. Good answers, everybody. So again, having a reason for marking the level, not just going, oh, it touched it a lot. Like, no, what is that level? Why is it important? Have reasoning. Therefore, in the future, when I'm sitting here zoomed in on the 5-minute and I'm approaching this level right here, I'm not just freaking out going, oh, is this level important? Did I mean to have this? Is this supposed to be here? No, I have full confidence whenever this breaks with volume that I can take calls, or vice versa, going down under with volume with puts, whatever. But I have full confidence in that level. That's the whole point, is to have full confidence. So what are some other levels I can grab on this chart just from these past 3 days? I could grab right here. About right here. 2-day go low. Previous day close lines up with about there. Don't even need to mark it. We already have a bigger time frame level here at 170.25. So that's about it. That's about everything we can grab on Apple. So tomorrow going into it, we have levels no matter what. If it starts here, if it starts here, if it starts here, if it starts here, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have a plan. So that's why in the morning it's so easy for me to just go through 20 tickers that I had prepared last night in the morning, because I already have every level done. Basically, all I'm doing is typing in the morning. I'm basically just looking to realign everything, to give myself the plan beforehand. Let's do one small ticker, and then we'll move on to the chart request. Let's do Veil, maybe? Let's do a weird one, like Walgreens. So you can see if I go to the max daily, this is the daily time frame of all of its history. Price has been to the 40s a few times, right? So you can go back all the way back here, and right now I'm in the year 2000. I'm in the beginning or the end of the year 2000 over here. You know, so that just goes to show how effective. Whoops, that just screwed me. I can show you how effective everything is over here. So you see, we're in the 40s for current price. Just grabbing effective levels. Merging candles, nothing crazy, nothing black magic. Again, just grabbing strong levels. So you can see we got those way over there. That is crazy, right? That's just price history at its finest. And that's what we want to see. We don't want to be grabbing levels that make no sense, that give us no effectiveness. You know, I don't want to trade levels that price doesn't want to move from. Isn't that crazy though? Going from 22 years ago, I can grab those levels and it ends up lining up as the perfect bounce, recovery, resistance. It's even playing into part of the gap range here. That's pretty crazy. But let's go through some chart requests now.